Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City. Today I'm going to share a ReMOC or a remake of a classic LEGO set. This is set 1620 Chocolate Factory and was suggested by subscriber Brick Bakery. Before he suggested it, I'd seen it before and thought it was interesting, but I did not have the red bricks needed to build the set. However, under Brick Bakery's encouragement to change the colors, I gave it a shot based on the bricks I had. As with all my ReMOCs, I do not buy any parts for the build and only use parts I already own. If you would like to watch all my ReMOC videos as well as a how-to video on my approach to remakes, check out the playlist in the card at the top of the screen. The 1620 Chocolate Factory is a promotional set released in 1978. It features the Dutch brand Chocomel that is prominently featured on the roof of the building. Chocomel is actually a brand of chocolate milk, so this should actually be called a chocolate milk factory and not a chocolate factory. I only learnt of this after I built the MOC, so when I designed this, I designed it as a chocolate factory and not a chocolate milk factory, otherwise I would have included some cows. The main building is modeled after a traditional Dutch building, so has the distinctive pointed roof in the front. In my ReMOC, I kept to this Dutch design since it is the central feature of the main building. However, I changed the colors from red to white and the roof from black to red. I added in green accents to give some visual contrast, but the main reason is because of the 3D chocolate sign I created. I did not have the Chocomel sign, and since I was under the impression that this was a chocolate factory, I thought a bar of chocolate would be an appropriate sign. Since the chocolate bar wrapper is green, I felt that green accents would fit the rest of the building to reflect the corporate colors. I expanded the building in size because the original was just too small to put in any significant detail. In addition, I designed the truck to be more minifig scale and larger, so the parking lot had to be larger and higher. This resulted in the need to move the flower cart to the opposite corner of the road. I retained the lamppost, stop sign and bench, but updated the designs. I do not have a road plate or base plate that goes with the set, so I used a regular grey base plate and used tiles to create the sidewalks. In the original design, the back of the building is open, which is common for LEGO buildings. I closed everything up and made it modular style so the roofs can be removed. I also made the winch system self-contained in the building, as you'll see later. Overall, I think I retained the essence of the build and updated it with modern build techniques and proportions. Let's have a closer look at my ReMOC. As mentioned, I kept all the major elements of the original build, from the look of the main building, an updated truck, the flower cart, bench, lamppost and stop sign. I did add a couple of creative additions just to make it more detailed. I also detailed the interior, which you'll see in just a while. Let's now have a closer look at the different aspects of the build. Let's start with the 3D chocolate bar sign. Don't you think this looks just like a chocolate bar? It looks like you can just break this off and eat it. And it also looks like a wrapper has been peeled down and folded down as though ready to eat the chocolate bar. I'm really happy with this. It looks really realistic. It's got a nice thickness. It's held on by a hinging plate, so it can be hinged at an angle for a decanted or slanted display. And I'll show you how to build this chocolate bar in the near future, as I'll do a separate tutorial on it. Over here you can see the winch in action, and it's actually raising a box of chocolates, or maybe it's actually delivering a box of chocolates. The chocolates which are being stored in the main building over here are being lowered down by the guy right there, and he's probably hooked it up and it's being lowered down to this delivery guy who is receiving it and holding it in his truck. So I believe this was the intended purpose of the original design. I'm not too sure if this top part was supposed to be part of the chocolate factory, but to me this made sense. And this is just hooked on. There's this modified towel piece with a toe eye bracket, and that is just put onto a plate, and that looks like it's just attached so it can be hoisted up and down. And I've got a couple more different packages over here, and let's just have a look at the truck at the same time. That's our delivery guy. That's more packages of chocolate. He's got a dolly or a trolley so that he can wheel it to the places he's delivering it to. And this is a modern style minifig scale of the truck in replacement of the original truck. I like the nice white clean design, and it fits well as well in terms of the size, because if you see it go in, it actually fits pretty well inside, and if we turn it around, it doesn't really protrude out too much. So the size is right, and of course because it's bigger, as I mentioned, I had to expand both the width and the height of the building. And in actual fact, of course, I think that if they are loading and unloading, they won't be doing it this way. They would probably drive into or underneath the factory like that and basically lower and raise their cargo, and that's so that they don't block up the road too much. Let's move this out of the way. One more look at the truck. I'm not really into trucks, but I think I did a decent job. And this is actually a modification of a truck I did for the windmill set, which I remocked as well. Over here, let's see some additions that I added just for the sake of adding in more detail with the minifig, but with my ATM machine, which I have taught in a separate tutorial. This flower cart, this is something I've taught as well in a separate tutorial, and it really fits well with this overall look of this build. On this side, with the man on the bench, a stop sign, and a European style lamppost. And we'll just pretend that this is a street sign as well. Let's have a look at the building itself. Here's a look at the building from this end. I kept the look of the buildings, but instead of using modified rail plates, I used jumper plates to offset the windows, and I've taught this technique before. I kept this design of the roof more or less the same, of course changed up the colors, and I used kind of a transparent trans green round bricks to give it an almost modern feel. Maybe you think it's either acrylic or glass. There are windows on all sides, and notice there's a ladder which actually goes up to the storage area, and I'll be able to show you inside when I remove the roof later on. As you can see, it's held together by jumper plates, and I'll also show you the winch mechanism inside. Here there's a door like the original. This roof can also be removed. There's an air conditioning unit over here, some lights all around, and a window over here. Even though this is a factory, I envision it to have a small retail window so people can actually buy chocolate directly from the factory if they like. Let's have a look at the top view and the inside of the build. Here's a look inside the factory section of the overall build. As mentioned, this entire roof can be removed as it's held in place by jumper plates. Just like that. And inside we have the chocolate chef preparing chocolate. Let's see if I can remove, well, the chef first, because he's hard at work, but he's also just prepared a tray of chocolates which I've placed on the table, again with jumper plates so that I can remove it easily. And here you can see different types of chocolate have been prepared, have been cut, wedge slices, conical shapes of muffins, chocolate slabs, round cookies of chocolate, and whatnot. They have the chocolate preparation area. There's a sink, a little stove here to melt the chocolate, a microwave, a fridge, and a box of chocolate which has been packed. So that's basically the inside of this very tiny chocolate factory. Now let's have a look at the inside of the storage area. Here's a top view of the storage area of the chocolate factory. I designed this section of the roof to be easily removable because there are plates over here and corresponding tiles and a single jumper plate with 2 studs. Inside you can see all the activity. There's the minifig who is taking the cartons and sending it out of the window. There's this rig system here which I'll show you in just a bit, and over here you can see there are lots of different cartons of chocolate which are being stored here. There is a hole, let's turn this around, there's a hole over here in the ground, kind of a trap door or just an opening, and that's for access for the ladder for the minifig to get up. This particular winch I actually stole. I stole it from the Ninjago City docks, and I've temporarily installed it into this chocolate factory. It's got a wheel and kind of a pulley system going up these Technic parts, and basically this hook can be raised and lowered just by turning that wheel over here, and that will go up and down. You can't see it so well at this angle, but it's now being moved up. So that works very well because it's self-contained. You don't have to have it coming out from the back of the building as per the original design, and it really made no sense since it came down to the ground behind. This is nice and self-contained, and when you put the roof, it looks pretty good. I hope you enjoyed this look at my ReMOC. The way I approached this remake was to recreate the original design of the building, but with parts that I had. I also wanted to build it modular style so that the back wasn't open, and I think the most original element that I've added is the 3D chocolate sign. And do look out for the tutorial when I release it, because I think that's going to be fun. Anytime I do a ReMOC, I think of the concept and details, and within the concept comes the basic idea of the build, but also identifying a central feature or distinctive character of this particular build. In this case, I think the old Dutch style building is a central characteristic, but I personally felt that the chocolate bar sign was important as well, so that anyone can tell that this is a chocolate factory from the outside, even without knowing what the building is. I also felt it was very important to update the vehicle, or the truck in this case, and it was convenient that I already had a design for a flower cart, which is a good update and modern version of the original one. What do you think of this ReMOC? Do you like the changes I did? The colors, the chocolate sign, the truck? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.